Hello. Episode 1 and I think this is possibly the third take. I'll do my best to nail it this time. My name is Judith, and I've decided to join the throng that is YouTube podcasters. And I will be talking about needlework, all kinds of needlework, primarily knitting and sewing and crochet, a little bit of embroidery, etc., etc. My sewing room is in no way at all curated. This is just where I work in a small 2x2 meter space, and I'm surrounded by people who inspire me. If you look over there, that's an embroidery that my mum did, and if you look over there, there's a lady I met when I was traveling around Namibia in Damaraland. I'm from Namibia, and she was just sitting under a lean-to, as they say here in Australia, and sewing her dolls. And that truck over there is a shop. So when I complain that I don't have enough space, I just look at the people around me and I get a grip. So before we start something, I think it's important to acknowledge and thank the women and men on whose shoulders I stand and we as makers stand. I want to thank my mother in particular for giving me these skills. And I was given this envelope that says very old needlework instruction books, and in it I found 3 of these stitchery supplements to Woman's Magazine. It doesn't have a date on it, but I did some research, and it seems like the one that I have in my hand, which is number 2, would have been published round about 1900, which is making it over 100 years old, which thrills me no end because I've obviously read it and there is so much in it that is still relevant today. But in it, I did find a little paragraph that said, "Teach your daughters to knit." And I want to read it out to you as a thank you to my mum. Teach your daughters to knit. All women should learn to knit. Many very beautiful articles, as well as useful ones, can be made with knitting needles, and it does not require such good eyesight as the fine embroidery or crochet work of which most women are fond. Some women can knit and read at the same time. Knitting is a restful occupation for the tired housewife and a great panacea for restless hands and tired brains, and for old ladies who can no longer see to take the delicate stitches in other fancy work. Every mother should consider it her duty to teach her daughters to knit. If she does not make use of the accomplishment in her younger days, it will be a great comfort in old age. For what is more pitiful to see than an old lady sitting through the long winter evenings with nothing at all to do? So, thank you, Mum. I'm sorted for my old age, which I believe has begun. I will today tell you about a few things that I've been making, and in between kind of get an idea of what I want to do with the podcast, because I'm not even 100% sure. There are many, 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 many podcasts out there. Actually, are they called vidcasts? Anyway, they're on YouTube. Amazing craftswomen, amazing needlewomen. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm bringing to the pot, but I'll give it a go anyway. And I'll just launch in and look at what I'm doing. And then maybe something will develop from that. Where shall I start? I'll start with something that I've finished that I would like to talk about. This is a scarf that I knitted for my son's uncle. It was something I knitted as a thank you for support during a very tough time. And I never know what to do during tough times, and I kind of always go to my needles and sit and knit something or crochet something or sew something, and I don't know, it seems to help. So I went about knitting this scarf, which is, I think, a really beautiful gentleman's scarf to say thank you. I knitted it in Australian Superfine Merino, which is a really lovely yarn. These two colors, I believe, are discontinued now. I do find them the most fabulously masculine colors. And it's also my very favorite stitch for a men's scarf. I love it. I'll give it to you quickly because it's so dead easy. Basically, you just need a multiple of 4 stitches plus 1. And then you begin every row with knit 2, purl 2 to the end of the row, and the last stitch is knitted. You flip it over and you just repeat that row until you run out of yarn. And it's soft. It's got quite a 3D feel to it, and it's pretty flexible and squishy. It's my go-to scarf pattern if I'm going to be knitting something where I don't know the person that well. It always turns out really, really lovely. So that's the first finished object that I have. And that's going to be winging its way to Switzerland shortly. I know it's spring and summer. I think it's summer in Switzerland now. I'm recording from Australia. But at the moment, the post is just taking forever. And so maybe it will get there in time for winter. And I know this gentleman does a lot of hiking. So I hope it's going to have its debut walk in the Alps in this upcoming winter. That's it. Then I have 2 color work hats that I've done here. I'll start with this one because it's my favorite yarn from an Australian grower who they grow Polworth yarn, and I was very fortunate to go to the farm and do a natural dyeing course. And these here are colors that I dyed with plants. The kind of fawn color is a natural Polworth color, and then I quickly whipped up this little hat, the corrugated rib, and this kind of circular design, and I love it. And I have artificial fur pom-pom, which I will be attaching to the top of it. I haven't attached it because I would like to just do a little tutorial on how to attach these, because the ones that I've seen attached by this little string or even by a button, they're super wobbly and they look like they're about to fall off. And I've devised a way, I think, where it's going to be sewn on like it's a secure. So hopefully that will be a short little tutorial in the very, very near future. I love the Polworth yarn. It's definitely amongst my favorite yarns to use. Plus, the owners of the Tarndie farm are lovely. So it's all good all round, good vibes all round. And then I did another color work. It's actually a hat and a cowl. In the yarn that I used for this was Malabrigo Rios. It's a 10-ply yarn. I'll try and remember to do links and things like that, but I've never done anything like that before. So I don't even know if anybody's going to be watching this podcast, so we'll see how we go. But basically, it's just I used it to teach a color work class. And it's kind of called a ponytail hat. So if you have long hair like I do, you never know what to do with your hair. So I'll try and slip it on. I really like it. And when you can kind of pull your ponytail out the top of your hat. And then when you want to wear it as a cowl, you just slip it off your head, open it up, and then you pull it over all the way like that. and hopefully I haven't messed up my glorious hairstyle. And then you can always cinch it in if you really want it to be snug against your neck. And this is the kind of cowl that makes sense to me. I don't get those loopy ones because I'm not 100% sure what they're supposed to be doing. Anyway, that's just my personal opinion. I like the colorway, but also again corrugated rib at the bottom, and then just a very simple Fair Isle repeat, which is really good when it's a constant repeat like this. When you're learning something new, it's good when you're doing something like this. Anyway, so there's that one, and those are kind of the only finished objects I really do have. I'm working on a this really huge jumper for myself, which I'm knitting out of Kassia Funky. A colleague of mine was wearing a jumper that she made out of it, and it looked so warm and cushy. I thought, oh, I really want to do that as well. I just got a pattern from Drops Design, and it's called the Sidewalk Cafe Sweater. It's a 14 ply. It's quite a quick knit. I'm beginning to panic a little bit because I'm kind of thinking it's possible that it might make me look like an overfed rainforest frog. But anyway, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And I think it might look nice with a pair of black jeans or something like that. It's kind of almost got like 1980s kind of bat wing sleeves. It's got a anyway, I mean, I'm kind of enjoying knitting it. It's not I don't really like thick yarn, but you know, I need a warm jumper basically. So that's that one that I do when I don't really have to concentrate that hard. I'm working on let's back that away. I'm working on a cardigan for my son, which I got out of the Rowan Magazine No. 60. And this is the cardigan that I'm knitting for my son. It's a design by Martin Story. I love it. I love it. I mean, this picture is silly. I think it's silly because the cardigan is clearly too small for the guy. But I'll make it fit my son better than this fit. But I just love the cardigan, and it's typical Martin Story. I always find that if I see a really nice design, chances are it's Martin Story. I love his color aesthetic and everything. So I will show you. I finished the back. There we go. So I finished the back, and I love it. Absolutely love it. And I've kind of started one of the fronts using 2 yarns from Morris & Sons, and the other yarn is the Fibra Natura Renewal, which I like a lot. It's got some I think it uses some recycled yarn, and the labels are printed on recycled paper, so it ticks a few boxes for me, and I'm enjoying. But this one I need to kind of have a little bit of quiet time. I already had to pull half of the front out because there was a mistake in the repeat. So that's that one. Sorry, I just need a drink of water. There we go, that's a bit better. That's that one. And then I'm knitting something for myself out of the same yarn, again, the Fibra Natura Renew, for the same reasons. Plus I really love this color. It's got some little bits of fleck in it. It's a top-down cardigan. Let's get the top. A top-down cardigan. And I've just gone into the body here, and I just thought I'd show you another use for DPN cozies for those of you who know about DPN cozies. You can use them just to clip onto to keep your needles together, so you're not losing any stitches. Anyhow, that's that one. And the pattern is, it's called Albini Cardigan, and I like it because it's just a very plain cardigan. Nothing fancy schmancy about it. So it's Albini Cardigan by Tet Besh Knitwear. I got it on Ravelry, and I'm going to keep it out because I want to talk about it today. So those are the big projects I have on needles. Of course, I have socks. West Yorkshire Spinners sock yarn that I got from my lovely friend Robin. I'm not going to use the pattern that they gave with the socks. I'm using this lovely old-fashioned double moss stitch that's shifted along every 2 stitches. I don't know how you say that in English. I looked it up, but the word wasn't right. In German, when you shift a pattern along, it's called versetzt. Who knows? I don't know, but that's that, and I love the look of it. And yeah, this is how I store my needles. So I'll use some. I use DPNs for knitting socks. I've tried Magic Loop. I just like knitting socks with DPNs. I think it depends on what you've been taught with, whether you're going to like it or not. What else did I want to say about this? Yes, I will also do another little tutorial on how not to get ladders in between your needles, because I've read a lot online about people having a problem with ladders when you go from one needle to the next. It's a very easy fix, and we'll do that. So that's a pair of socks. That's on the needles. And talking about sock yarn, yes, I have way too much opal. This one here has got bling in it. Can you see? That bling is called Stalina. It's from the Magic Sky range. That's what I like about opal. Opal, beautiful work.